Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Matters. I'm Sarah Touchstone, Landmark Title's social media marketing strategist and educator. I get the pleasure of bringing you Marketing Matters live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. This month, it's all about external tools to streamline your real estate business. And today we are talking about one that it's going to change the way that you do everything, the way you communicate, especially with the changes to our real estate industry. It's really important how you communicate that C word, right? We're all avoiding it. It's now become like a dirty word and you can't say it on so many different platforms. But what are you doing out there to communicate commission and other information to agents when you have a listing? Well, you're going to be using the Listeyy app from here today moving forward. And we've got Jackie Briggs and Richard Calhoun, who are the founders, the creators, the everything about the Listeyy app on today, and they're going to tell you all about it. So Richard and Jackie, I'm going to hand the reins over to you, and I am so excited to present this to the world.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. I'm Richard Calhoun, and I actually work for Jackie. Jackie is my designated broker and wife, and the person who came up with the idea for executing on Listeyy. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi there, Jackie Briggs. I am a broker here in Phoenix, and this really was born from a Moon Valley Realtor tour hosted by Cynthia Lujan at Landmark, where we talked about different ways that we can deal with the increase in phone calls and just like the need to get information to people quickly without having to repeat yourself. And, you might be in meetings and showing clients and stuff. So this is what we came up with, and we've kind of gone through a couple of revisions to make sure that we keep, brokers and Armless and NAR happy on this. So I'll let Richard lead the demo, but ultimately our goal was to come up with a way that we can get people information immediately. So instead of having to call, text, email listing agents to ask, is there compensation? Are there any offers? Stuff like that. We have the ability to respond via an automated text message so they can get that information immediately. It's consistent. If you have multiple listings that are offering different compensation levels, you don't have to worry that you're going to say the wrong one. And you can even link to your CAB form if your broker's having you use that. So there's a lot of neat ways that we can just sort of streamline and automate it and get back to what we all actually like doing, which is being with our clients and being of service there. So I'm going to turn it over to Richard for the quick demo on what it is and how it works. And there you go.
Great. And can you guys see my screen okay, Jackie?
Looks good, Richard.
All right, perfect. Sorry, I had to drop and rejoin because I had to give permission for Zoom to share my screen. So apologize, I dropped there for a second. So as a real estate husband, I will say, or a real estate spouse, one of the things that I've noticed with my wife is that she spends a ton of time communicating the same information over and over again to interested parties, right? Is this on lockbox? Are you offering a co-broke? And it is a lot of her time answering the same question over and over and over again. So instead, what we've thought through is like, hey, instead of directing all of those buyers and agents your way to communicate the same information over and over again, we created Listeyy to allow you to communicate the same information about listings to any interested party. So you input the information one time that you want to share and let them know to text Listeyy, and then you can scale up your communication. The other big benefit here is I'll give you an example that I saw from Jackie a couple of weeks ago. Someone texted her and was asking information about a property. Jackie goes to respond. Then she gets a phone call from another agent, answers that question, goes back to her computer, starts working, and then 4 hours later remembers that she never texted that agent back, right? And then she does text them back and gives them the information. The benefit to using Listeyy is that information is instantaneous. As soon as they text and ask for the information, they get it right away. So if your buyer's agent is out showing homes to their buyers, they don't have to wait for you when they only have limited time to be able to kind of meet the needs of their clients. So this is going to hopefully go super, super well. So I would like each of you to take your phone out, because if I did this demo correctly, you're going to get a free kind of preview here of what we're talking about. So if you scan that QR code, and then it should bring up your text messages, and it should pre-fill both the number and the code. So all you have to do is hit send. So if you scan the QR code and hit send, and then wait a few seconds, you should get a response message. And if someone in the chat would let me know once they've done it, to make sure that I set it up correctly and didn't mess this up today on the biggest stage of all, let me know how it goes, and I'll check the chat as well.
Debbie said she got a response in the chat.
Nice. And so the next thing that I want you to do, if you're willing to get another text message from me, and I promise not to spam you too much, you'll see that within that message, there's also an opportunity to subscribe to the listing. So if you simply type back sub and hit send, it should let you know that you've now subscribed to that listing. And that'll be important to the demo later when I show you what that does. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're willing and open to do it, type back sub and just hit send, and you should get a subscription response message. And if anybody in the chat can let me know when they do that as well. Oh, Jackie, good point. The first thing I should have had you do is type back more, because that's what it instructs you to do. So if you write more, it'll give you the additional details about the listing. The reason that that's important is that, as you guys have probably heard, there's a two-step requirement from the MLS to receive compensation or additional information about commissions on your listing. So if you write back more, it will. If you hit more and hit type in more and hit send, it'll return the information about the listing to you. And Debbie, thank you for subscribing and being our super user today. If you could also let me know if you type more, if that also works as well, if you get the information back as well. All right, more worked as well. So hopefully everybody was able to use that and see how simple the tool is. We actually generate a QR code whenever you create a listing. So you can use this on your marketing materials. You can use this on your flyers. Jackie's starting to put it on sign writers. And so you can market your property with that information as well. All right, so now I'm going to do a live demo of the platform itself. And so can you guys see Listeyy here? Jackie? Perfect.
Yep, looks good.
And so you can see there are some listings that I've already created for various properties. This is the one that I had you guys subscribe to today, so we'll take a look at that. And so in here, you can see the text code that I created that people will text to learn about your listing. The response message, which is completely configurable by you. One of the nice parts about this response message is I put in a time and date for an open house. So you'll notice in your text message that created a link that will add that directly to your calendar. So anytime you're hosting an event or an open house, you can use Listeyy and communicate that information, and they can add it directly to their calendar from the text message. The other thing we can provide is links, so it'll link you directly out to the website that you might have for marketing the property or your own website. So putting links in there is also a good idea. And then you can see that our compensation message there that's 2 steps away from the MLS. Now, what we suggest that you do here is once you create the listing, you get this page here. And so we made it really, really simple. Use this sample message that we created for private remarks in the MLS. So if you copy this message, you just click this button here and you paste it into the private remarks of the MLS. Then when somebody's setting up their search for their buyers and they want to know, additional information about showings or compensation or what have you, they simply text that code to the number and they get that information back immediately. We also provide this QR code as well that you can, again, embed on any of your marketing materials, your signs, your flyers. And the benefit there is that it pre-fills the text code and the number so that all the person on the other end has to do is hit send. And the one other thing, while I have you all captive as my audience, is I'll show you the listing blast. So for those of you that actually subscribe to the listing, this is more of a marketing tool. I can send a message out to those people that have subscribed to my listing. So imagine a scenario where somebody saw your listing, they like it, maybe the price was too high, maybe there are some other concessions that they wanted, but they're still interested in case the price comes down. Then you can push a message to all of those subscribers at once, and it sends a blast out to them, letting them know the new information. And you guys that did subscribe should have just received that message. One other thing here from a marketing perspective, you can actually see the number of inquiries as well as the number of subscribers you have to each listing. So if you've had, 30 or 40 inquiries to a listing, but no subscribers, it might be an indication that there's something to think about there on either the pricing or the concession side or what have you. Now, if you have a ton of subscribers and, a high amount of inquiries, and there's probably really good traffic there. So it's a little bit of insight to help you figure out, like, how interested are people in this property once they've made an inquiry and they start receiving back that additional information from you. So with that, we'll jump back into here. And then we'll take questions at the very end. Here's some helpful tips. Again, use links. You can use URL shorteners too to kind of condense the message. Include event. Again, adding a time or a date will allow them to add it straight to their calendar from your text. Really good for open houses or any other kind of events you're doing. Use the QR codes. They auto-generate the message to Listeyy, including the text code and the phone number. And then put the Listeyy marketing message or QR code in the private remarks in the MLS, on your website, on your printed materials, on your signs, anywhere that you think that buyers could benefit or buyer agents could benefit from additional information about your listing. In terms of pricing, the first listing is free. So any of you can go in there today, create an account, and do the first listing. The premium feature of the listing subscriptions and the marketing blast is for people that are on a subscription plan, but you get to try that out for 14 days for free as well. So there's no out-of-pocket cost to go try it out and give us feedback. We're trying to launch this and get it to as many people as possible and get as much feedback as we can. We're also partnering with Landmark. So if you decide to do a second listing, we'll give you $5 off by just using the code Landmark at checkout. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jackie to talk about some of the use cases and answer some Q&A about how she's using it for her side of the business.
Yeah, thanks. So we tried to make everything as easy as possible. Again, I'm using it primarily as a listing agent to just get communication out to people quickly. We had a conversation on tour last week where an agent had said that they were out trying to show homes and they got a 50% response rate from inquiring on listing agents as far as compensation. Their buyer needed closing costs and their buyer needed to have the buyer's commission paid by the seller, and they weren't willing to look at properties that weren't offering that. And so they ended up actually going to new builds because they knew they would be able to get those things covered, and they weren't able to get that information quickly from agents. Like I said, half of them didn't even respond to those inquiries, which is super frustrating, I'm sure, as a buyer's agent. So the primary use was developed to communicate information regarding compensation to buyers agents timely, consistently. It's kind of evolved from there to be able to also use as a buyer lead generation. So if you guys have your text message up to Listeyy and you text over buy 205 Acapulco, all one word, BUY 205 ACAPULCO, that will get you an example of what would come back from a sign writer. So I have some sign writers going on my listings, and they have the QR code that will pre-fill with that, or just the instructions to text it. But what they'll get back is the information about that property. So if you text that, it comes back, lets you know it's priced under appraisal, it's move-in ready, quick close, here's the next open house, here's a link to full photos and details. And that could be a single property website, or that could just simply be the link to your MLS listing. And then, contact me directly at this phone number for a showing. And that would be an easy way for them to just click to call you up. And then also noting that the seller's offering the compensation. And then here's the link to that CAB form if your broker is having you use that. So we've got a way to get a ton of information, kind of whatever you want for whoever your audience is, into it, whether instructing them to text or to use the QR code. But the main benefit is that you would just get it and you would get it back, immediately. So you put it in one time and then it cuts down on the number of times you have to answer those phone calls and emails, and you can see how many people have inquired, which I just think is great. The more data that we can have about our properties and our listings, the better. So, oh, good to know. So if you have, I'm reading the chat here from Chuck. If you have a signature configured in your texting app, the QR code returns an error, but if you turn off the signature, it works. Okay, good to know. I've never set up a signature in my text, so we haven't tried that out. Yeah, so Richard's showing here kind of what can come back when you're focused more on buyer and lead gen in terms of using those codes. So any other questions I see in the chat here? Which I think is the only way that we can take questions. But anybody else have any questions, thoughts, ideas on how they might want to use it? I really think that having that available, even at open houses, you can have your QR code in there and then they can subscribe for updates. That would be a great use of staying in contact with people, maybe who don't want to give you their contact info, but are willing to kind of stay in the loop. If you have received offers and you have an offer deadline, then you can put that into that blast and put it into the message and say, we're reviewing offers on this day and this time. And again, that keeps you consistent. That gets the information out to the agents right away, and just really helps you kind of over communicate these details without having to do everything on a one-to-one basis. It's a little bit more streamlined and using technology to our advantage, again, to benefit our clients. And what I've found from buyers agents is that they love having an instant response to the things that they want to know. And because we aren't able to, use the MLS to convey compensation information, we're not allowed to use aligned. Even if you're messaging in aligned, that's not going to be, that's still a violation, even if it's a one-to-one message through the aligned platform. And so good question from Debbie. Does this count as the double click to be able to include the buyer's agent co-broke? Yes. We've talked to Armless about it, and because we're not mentioning compensation, we're not saying, text Listeyy for compensation information. It is more of a general info. And then there's that additional click just to get more info. That takes you 2 steps outside of the MLS. So I actually talked to Armless yesterday, and Jen over at Data Integrity said that would be good. It's kind of interesting because the way that they have it set up is, even if, a lot of companies are using websites like, oh, link to this website, and then you can see the compensation info. If you do that and you have your link in the private remarks and it leads you to another site, that page cannot say the word compensation or agent info or anything like that. It has to be, I almost feel like hidden, like wink, wink code word, like more info to get to that second step, because they can't see anything that even, she said, alludes to compensation when you get to that first message, that first, page out of the MLS. So they're really, for all of the transparency that this is supposed to add, we're definitely making it a little harder to have that conversation. And I think as a buyer's agent, I would love to have that information in writing. I would love to have it, it'd be even better if they have their CAB form linked and I can get that immediately. That'd be great. But I would just love to know right away. So we do have that extra step now where you text the code, and then you have to text back the very generic word more to get info, but that gets you to that second step without, mentioning compensation, alluding to any of that. And we're talking about it more in terms of seller concessions that they're willing to do, which could be a concession towards buyer's closing costs, a concession towards paying their agent, or just simply offering that as compensation. So obviously this is all new and we're all still kind of figuring out how to have those conversations both with our clients and with other agents. But we're hoping that this can help just cut down on the number of times that we're waiting for a response from somebody ultimately. So.
Yeah, good question, and good feedback on the signature thing. I hadn't thought through that, so we might try to think through a solution for that. But that was good feedback as well. We do have a few, some people using the platform today, and so we've actually made several updates already just based on the feedback from agents using the platform. So as you guys use it, try it out again. There's no cost. So try the first one for free, see how you like it, give us feedback. And if it's something that you find beneficial, great. Or if you have feedback on how to make it better, we would love to hear it as well.
Awesome. It really is that simple, guys. So, the fact that there's not a lot of questions, it's a simple app. Like, it's a simple platform. There's a lot of just uneasiness, I think, moving into this next phase in real estate. But real estate industry is all about change. Like, people thrive under changing environments. So I'm so glad to have Listeyy on today. And
I forgot to show one thing. All right. So if you get confused, we also created this text exchange example here so you can see how it works within the platform as you're setting it up, right? So it'll show you, hey, I texted a code. This is a generic reply they're going to get. If they say more, this is the reply they're going to get, right? It's going to be your response message. So if you get confused, it's kind of hidden, but there's this little eye balloon down here that'll help you figure that out. We also have included examples in the response message of things that you can think about as you're crafting your message as well. So we tried to walk everybody through it as much as we can. It's literally 30 seconds of setup, but if you do get confused, we have these little kind of hints for you to help out.
Richard and Jackie, what's the best way people can get started using Listeyy today?
Yeah, go to app.listeyy.com or even go to listeyy.com, create an account, and it literally will take you 90 seconds to set up your first listing. So get using it right away, and then test it out yourself. Use it on your phone, see how you feel about it. Like, give us feedback, and then start using it. See what happens. I mean, the first day that Jackie used it, she got 2 phone calls from agents that were like, "Hey, this is really cool. Like, I appreciate you doing it." It did not stop the phone call, but it did give them the information, and they got back to us to tell us that they thought it was really, really fun and cool. And so, at least maybe it might increase your phone calls in the beginning part while people get used to using it, but at least you get to talk to some people and get your property marketed and out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course. Okay.
I was going to say, we've done some training with the Landmark reps too. So if you have a Landmark title rep, they can probably walk you through that process, and they should all have accounts where they're able to access the back end of it and really show you how it works. So if you have any extra questions, they are also available to answer those. Yes,
we here at Landmark, we've been really excited about this new product and this new platform. So please reach out to us. We've got some special codes for you as well to help get you started. So please reach out to your Landmark reps. We're happy to help you through this process as well.
Looks okay, perfect. And so the last thing I'd say is we thrive on feedback. Like, I'm the support person, so if you write support@listeyy.com, it comes directly to me. So I say that in all sincerity, that I want to hear the feedback. And so if you run into problems, or you even have an idea or a suggestion to make it better, like definitely get in touch.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Richard and Jackie. This is going to help out so many agents. I know that this is really, this was the brainchild of Jackie said, "I need this." And Richard said, "I got you." And then it just grew from there. So it is for agents, by agents, and it's supposed to just make this next transition even that much easier for everyone. So if you guys do have any questions, of course, you can reach out to Jackie or Richard and your business development managers. I'm going to wrap it up today with some of the other classes that we have coming up. Of course, we love not only bringing you great tools, but we love bringing you great classes at Landmark Title. Tomorrow, there may only be like 1 or 2 spots left for this. So I am going to promote it. But just know that if you don't sign up for this one, like right now, you may lose out on your spot. It is the road to 100 closings, social media mastery for real estate agents, brought to you by the one and only Rio. He is an amazing realtor. He had a house for sale in my neighborhood and it went off the market like that, which is hard to do in the market that we are currently in. So that is tomorrow from 11 until 12 at the Rio Vista Recreation Center. Scan that QR code or reach out to Michael Carabio to get registered for that. And then at the end of the month, this is next Wednesday, we've got the new home construction CE class. This is going to give you 3 hours. I think this one is disclosure. So this is at the Atrium and Arrowhead from 9 until noon. This one is free. Scan that QR code, get registered, or reach out to Patty for this. And then moving ahead to September, yep, we're almost there. We've got Tara coming to do her solar class. If you guys have never taken Tara's solar class, it is probably the one of the best CE classes that you can take in our industry. You will learn so much. Even if you've taken her class before, you'll learn more again when you take it. And everybody needs those 3 hours of disclosure, right? So this one is Tuesday, September 10th from 10 until 1 down off Camelback. So register for that, reach out to Mary, scan that QR code. Gosh, we love our QR codes. And then on September 19th, we've got our second annual scavenger hunt up in the Prescott area. This is going to start at the Prescott Courthouse at 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. with a happy hour after. If you would like to attend that, please reach out and head up for a little cooler temps, right? On the 19th of September, it's going to be glorious up there. And then, as always, we have our home tours. Moon Valley is on the third Thursdays at 8:30 a.m. I do believe this one was last week because we had 4 Thursdays in the month of August, but look forward to that. Goes off without a hitch for 20 plus years. This is a great home tour. Jackie's highly involved in that, so I'm going to plug it a little extra hard because she's on today. And then we've got the Biltmore Luxury Tour on the 4th Wednesdays. This one's at 9 a.m. Both of them are absolutely amazing tours. If you've never been, go check it out. You will not be disappointed. And then, of course, I'd love to hear back from you. Marketing Matters is your webinar platform. We tailor this around what your needs are, but I don't know what your needs are unless I meet you in person or you call me up and tell me, or you fill out the survey. So please just take 1 minute, fill out the survey. I'd love to hear about what your needs are and what we can cover on Marketing Matters. And then, of course, you don't have to reach out to me. You don't have to fill out the survey. You can reach out to your business development manager and let them know what your needs are. Beth, Keith, Mary, Michael, Michelle, Patty, and Renee are happy to help you with any of your marketing needs in this industry. So please reach out to them. Of course, reach out to them if you have questions about Listeyy as well. And then thank you to Landmark Title for allowing us to bring you Marketing Matters every single week. We have 7 offices here in the Valley, 1 up in Prescott, 2 in Nevada to service all of your escrow and title needs. And of course, thank you to Listeyy, Richard and Jackie. So glad to have you guys on today. This recording will be available later. I know that it's a simple process, but every once in a while, if you find, you're trying to sign up and there's a little hiccup and you want a copy of this recording, just reach out to your business development manager. We can get that to you even later today. That's it for us today, guys. Thank you all so much. Next week, we have Wise Agent covering their CRM platform for external tools. You won't want to miss that.